In the past two Best of the Year discoveries, I joked about the previous year not necessarily being the greatest, but this year is a whole nother story. Well, hopefully there's nothing wrong with Cyberpunk 2077. Regardless, let's just focus on the positives and look into the top 10 mysteries and discoveries of 2020.
Hola!
Brought to you by HuntedKiller. Go to huntedkiller.com/oddheader and use oddheader for 20% off your first box. Zelda's Adventure. Thanks to Bydofield and Carter Stevens for letting me know this discovery on my Twitter. Follow me for more updates to mysteries there. 1994's Zelda's Adventure is a rare Zelda title that was not developed by Nintendo, but instead by Philips Interactive Media for their failed CDI, a move only agreed by Nintendo to compensate for backing out of a CD-based development deal with the company. Nintendo likely regretted this move even further when Zelda's Adventure ended up being known as one of the worst games of all time. Because of this, not many have spent time with the game looking for secrets never meant to be found, except for Chicote, who runs Chicote.com, a blog dedicated to archiving everything about the CDI that looks straight out of 1994 itself. In 2019, when ripping assets from Zelda's Adventure for the site, Chicote found a sprite that he wasn't sure was meant to be in the game. Then, 26 years after the game's release, the Monday Seed this year went to this screen under the assumption that the sprite may have been a surfer that would somehow appear on the water, and decided to select the diamond, hold the use button for exactly 6.5 seconds, when this suddenly happened.
Radical, dude! Totally!
Now you're probably thinking, what? It's believed the skater is actually a character from Food Dude, an unreleased title that was being developed by the same team where Food Dude would have to dodge junk food on his skateboard or else die of heart failure. Damn, to think that Philips Interactive Media could have released a game worse than this. Bioshock, The Collection. Thanks to ManicWretch for submitting this discovery on my Discord server. Although Bioshock The Collection was released in 2016, a new discovery was found only this year in the Minerva's Den DLC for Bioshock 2. Throughout the game, the player seeks out the Thinker, a supercomputer with boundless capabilities such as predicting the future or emulating a lost one. When the player finally finds himself in the control booth of the Thinker, United States of Hell on the Bioshock wiki noticed for the first time near the console of the supercomputer, where punch cards can be found scattered all across the desk. A new additional punch card could be found leaning against the desk that only appears in the remaster. That's been waiting here to be found since 2016, that was never found before. On it were the words, "There's always a lighthouse." Upgrade Tech on the Bioshock subreddit ripped the punch card from the game when he realized the hole punches at the end were Morse code, and translated to .com. From here they found there's always a lighthouse.com that's been online since 2016 and does nothing more than produce a page with a story image and a tab that says stay tuned, which confuses players as not only was a new Bioshock announced in 2019, but also, according to reports, game development began sometime after 2017, despite the site being up since 2016. Many Redditors have also adjusted the contrast on the site's page, revealing that there may be a hidden image, though honestly I think that one's a bit of a reach. Synnergist. Thanks to frequent contributor on the channel HajimeTheFool and Racos for submitting this discovery on my Discord server. 1996's Synnergist is mostly known as Vicarious Vision's first video game, long before making games like this year's Tony Hawk 1 and 2. The mystery that's plagued the game since release was a review by Coming Soon magazine that said somebody official told them that an Easter egg remained to be found that would provide every answer to the game. In 2014, Yes on the RPG Codex forum made a post to get to the bottom of the mystery, hacking together some resources but failing to get the egg up and running. It wasn't until Jedi23 this year managed to find a broken watch in the game for the first time ever, but again the community was at a loss. That changed when Sydney in the thread gathered some friends to reverse engineer the Easter egg with a hex editor, finally managing to uncover the Easter egg for the first time in 25 years. It also involved clicking on a random photo frame 7 times, so if it could have been solved without hacking is still unknown. And was it the be-all end-all Easter egg that would answer every question and mystery in the game? Actually, yes, as the Easter egg was the game's project director coming out of a drawer and explaining everything there was to know about the game.
A major theme in the story is reincarnation. as evidenced by the various infinity symbols and circle motifs.
The director Karthik Bala also mentions a signed Synnergist design Bible that he'll send you if you find this Easter egg, and to email him at chance@thematrix.com, which no longer exists as thematrix.com was sold to a little franchise a couple years later, which means Karthik is probably on his own private island at this point. It remains to be seen if Karthik actually intends on sending Sydney the prize.
Just as a disclaimer, this offer ends when I want it to.
You son of a Batman. Arkham Knight. Thanks to oopart and ploopy for submitting this on my Discord server. The Batman Arkham series is notorious for exceptionally hard to find Easter eggs. For example, in 2009's Arkham Asylum, the developer revealed an Easter egg after nobody found it, unveiling a hidden room by blowing up a random wall meant to tease the next game in the series. And another hidden room was found in the next installment, Arkham City, but another room was never found to exist after that. That changed this year when IBX3671 managed to find for the first time in 2015's Arkham Knight that by using a no-clip hack you could find a hallway behind a random wall in the orphanage, which leads to a bizarre set of televisions. Additionally, IBX found floating out of bounds the same set of TVs with a mysterious image on the screen, believed to be Ratcatcher, who was alluded to throughout the games but never actually appeared. It's also said to be an early concept of Scarecrow or an Ace Chemicals worker, who do actually appear in the game. And thanks to my good friend, YouTuber and hacker Slippy Slides, we were able to get a better look at the room and these objects than we were ever able to see before. Talking with both the Eggs Finder IBX3671 and Slippy Slides, there definitely seems to be a possibility here that there could be more to be found, with IBX noting he was particularly suspicious of the creepy doll in the room. But if this is another well-hidden Easter egg tucked away in an Arkham game, it may be another few years before we crack this one open. Wreckfest. Thanks to TjaxRockets for sharing this one with me on my Twitter. THQ's Nordic's Wreckfest is a racing simulator that released in early access on Steam in 2014, later going public on Windows and console in 2018. Earlier this month, TjaxRockets was having a normal race on the Eagles Peak Motor Park track when he noticed if he were to go through this gap and carefully dodge the standing people, he could easily get out of bounds. T-Jax was surprised to find an enormous environment surrounding the track, when he noticed grazing cattle that couldn't normally be seen in the game. And then TJ uncovered something that absolutely nobody would have expected, as he found a cow standing on its hind legs holding a machine gun. Unfortunately, JLSS1997 asked developer Bugbear Entertainment why this was here and never received a response, leaving us completely in the dark about this utterly ridiculous discovery. Minecraft. Have you ever looked at the title screen of Minecraft and wondered if it was an actual location in its procedurally generated world? I didn't think so. However, for players like Tom Lacko, he believed that the location could be found by finding a seed, which is a line of code that generates whenever an environment is created in Minecraft. Now, I'm not Vsauce, but if I could explain this as best I could, Tom Lacko gathered a team and recreated everything they could find, figuring out things like the world access and the Z-coordinates from the clouds, as well as recorded the exact placements of the grass and the borders of the different terrain. Tom Lacko turned it over to Minecraft enthusiast Minecraft at Home, who asked volunteers to band their computers together to increase the processing power it would take to generate the millions of possible seeds that could be matched. And finally, after 9 years of questioning if it was even a real location, the team finally found the seed, proving if you put your mind to anything along with the combined processing power of 54.5 exaflops of multiple computers, anything is possible. Now to just find the title screens for version 1.13, 1.14, 1.15, Pokemon Sapphire. This year, a glitch was discovered for the first time in Pokemon Sapphire 18 years after release. The glitch causes boulders to multiply when being pushed around with the strength ability, soft-locking the player from completing a puzzle in the rest of the game. If you're wondering why the hell is this ranked so high on this list, seems a little fishy. Well, you'd be exactly right, because the discovery was made by a fish. Lala the fish belonging to a YouTuber named Mutekumaru, who found the discovery by, well, swimming in a fish tank. As the owner tracked Lala with a laser as it moved across a board of different commands, which were then input into the game. Lala found the glitch after swimming for 2,000 hours on a live stream, which Mutekumaru had set up as a way of keeping people inside and dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Meaning a fish managed to find an 18-year-old glitch this year while thousands of human beings stared at a fish on a screen. Thanks Lala for making us further question what the hell has happened to our lives, as if 2020 wasn't already going swimmingly. Halo. Combat Evolved. Shortly after the release of Halo Combat Evolved on the PC in 2003, a mysterious image of a woman was found on a texture on the multiplayer map boarding action. Unfortunately, just as players got excited to look for the answer, a Bungie developer explained it was originally part of an Easter egg by the map's designer before he left the company, and they ended up removing it from the game. Well, earlier this year, an unfinished version of Halo was leaked online, and modder Alien3755 was exploring the leaked version of the map boarding action when he noticed there was a ledge that wasn't there in the final game. At the end was a wall without collision, and on the other side was the long-lost Easter egg players have wondered about for 17 years. The mystery of who the woman was also solved in a comment on a Rocketsoft video. As developer Derek Moore shared, "Thanks for the vid, she's my wife," making this long-lost removed Easter egg contender for most wholesome discovery of the year. But if you follow me on Twitter, you may already know the proposal I hid as a secret message in my last video, found by Muga on Twitter, and guess what? She said yes. So I'll leave it to you who really had the most wholesome discovery of the year. I'm just going to add that mine actually made it into the final product. Battlefield 5. Thanks to the people down below for submitting this through oddheader.com. You may remember the removed Battlefield 5 Easter egg from my video 5 removed Easter eggs, where Danny on PC and friends found by standing on 4 random panels on the training map. A staircase puzzle appeared in a race towards the sky. Unfortunately, before they could finish the puzzle, DICE issued a patch that quickly removed it, leaving it a mystery whether or not the Easter egg would ever appear again. Well, last month, players were scrolling through the search browser when an audio cue played and a page called The Challenge suddenly appeared. It later turned out they were actually supposed to spell out TEEET in Morse code in the menu, which was the name of a Twitter account fans noticed was sending mysterious videos to DICE designer Nicholas Ostron in September, and also briefly appeared in his profile description. In the challenge came the return of the puzzle to the sky, far more fleshed out than what was seen before. The puzzle became a worldwide race, as players across the globe amassed to solve the puzzle's many elaborate pieces, until finally the French won, as Montrix, Manivader, Legumin, and Robin Lowe finally managed to solve the puzzle, before DICE tried to remove it again. With it came a glorious animation to celebrate the landmark discovery, as well as a new skin. Well, I guess we have the friends we made along the way. Word quickly spread about a second ending to the staircase when earlier this month the Chinese team Misty Rain X, Happy Water, iPhone/SI, and JZW95 uncovered the true ending, this time featuring a giant megalodon, which is an ongoing gag throughout the series, making this without question one of the most epic ways to round out an Easter egg as well as this terrible year. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Thanks to Bri for submitting this from my website oddheader.com. In my video this year, Endings Not Meant to Be Found, I talked of an ending found in the data of Metal Gear Solid 5 that was supposed to activate when all of the players in online together disarmed all of the nukes in the game. Despite trying for years since 2015, players never got anywhere close. I ended that video saying that the ending being legitimately solved didn't seem very likely, and that it perhaps worked as commentary by Hideo Kojima about our own world's inability to disarm across the globe. Well, it turns out only 2 weeks after I covered it on my channel, PS4 players made me eat my own words, though I admit for the better, as they somehow managed to legitimately achieve the ending by getting everybody to disarm every single nuke they had in the game. Now that's the kind of discovery that restores faith in humanity, and also exactly the kind of story we need in 2020 right now. And if you're interested in solving more of your own mysteries at home, you'll definitely want to check out Hunter Killer's Blair Witch. But first, if you've never seen Blair Witch Project before, I highly suggest you watch it now. It's actually my favorite horror movie of all time, which is why I was hugely excited when Hunter Killer asked me to check out their Blair Witch tabletop game, which is a really cool subscription game where they'll send you 6 boxes for 1 season. Each box comes with realistic evidence, maps, police reports, and everything you would need to create a fully immersive experience. I had never played anything like this before and I was immediately hooked. I found the whole thing super compelling as you review evidence, solve secret codes, and even communicate with some of the characters using email. The Hunter Killer brand already has 100,000 active subscribers and over 2,000 5-star reviews. And what better time to check it out than with this exclusive discount code? Go to hunterkiller.com/oddheader and use oddheader for 20% off your first box. And again, be sure to use oddheader for a 20% discount. Can you survive the curse of the Blair Witch? If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And if you know of any other mysteries and discoveries from this year that I may have missed, come join the Discord, submit to oddheader.com, or even give me a shout on Twitter or Reddit. Shout out to Anna Morris, Arizona T, Bitwith27, Dan Duvall, Dead Plastic, Decider12, Dear Mid Crowley, Eddie Toxpin, Endergrove72, Flex, James Fadman, Jonathan A.L. Ornelas, Nichiban, Ponage Cakes, Rage Spot, Rise Sparrow, Reed Della Rosa, Riley S, Select, Sneaking J, Sasuke Akira, Scarities, Towerizer, Wade Murdoch, Jan Beneer, and Yu Kirby for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.